I'm delighted to see you back to a new video post from MyThesis Academy. This time we will focus on how to write a thesis proposal. This is a crucial question that you should have absolutely clear when it comes to the moment of concepting and to draft your research project that you also want to submit and to defend with your supervisor and also the faculty. So what does it take and what is important? What should you know all around it? This is what you will find in this post. As you already know, you will find the link to the related article from our blog in the description of the video. And let's have a look together now and go through it to discover how it will help you to craft your thesis proposal. So if you go through the article, then you can find a little introduction where you will get familiar with all the topic. If you scroll through the index, then you can see what is waiting and the question that will get clear from the article. So first we will focus on how long should your thesis proposal be, and we will also solve the question of how many parts you should include and what every single of these parts need to contain. Then I also want to give you an advice on how to prepare a summary from your thesis proposal. Let's say as a first step that gets you closer to the draft and also to the final version. And we also will discuss the utility of thesis proposal samples. So, for example, of PDFs that can serve you as an example when you want to get a clearer idea of how to write it and how to weight every of the 7 parts and so on. And last but not least, you also will find a kind of guide, and you will find the different steps and stages that you need to take and go through when you craft your own thesis proposal. So as you can see, there is a little introduction, which is the start, the beginning of the article, and you already find some very interesting and also important stuff. For example, you find a little definition of what a thesis proposal is. As you already can see and read here, it is the document, the principal document that outlines your research project, and it is absolutely necessary that you know very well the different parts which go into it, and that you have an overall idea, but that you on the same hand also know how to crystallize the necessary information, and that you prepare a very clear and concise one. So your ideas need to have a logical flow. There need to be a connection from one to the next so that it gets clear why do you undertake and approach the research in the way that you do. The next part, one of the longer sections, is a kind of discussion of the length of the thesis proposal. I also consider that you are students from different faculties, also from different academic levels and degrees. And as you can see here, most of the thesis proposal, let's say for a master thesis or even for PhD, rank from 15 to 20 pages. But for a bachelor's thesis, it is a way shorter. And you also need to consider the guidelines from your faculty. This is very important. This is something that you always need to keep in mind. Maybe, when you think of the length and of the requirements, you can keep it like that, as short as possible and as long as necessary. So make sure that you have all the necessary and the important, relevant information assembled, that you don't forget and don't leave important key points out, and that you also find a clear structure, that you stay, that you follow on a concise writing and so on, that you also use the academic tone as you will do it later in your thesis as well, and that you provide enough detail and background to give your reader a sense of what your research project will be about and also what it involves. But don't commit the error and come up with too much detail and information, or let's say with unnecessary information. This is a way too much. Let's get ahead with the 7 parts of research proposals. So which sections should thesis proposal contain? As you can see here, they are marked in bold letters. So you should start with an introduction, which is followed from a short literature review. So within this literature review, you also should crystallize the gap, or let's put it another way, the gap will become clear when you discuss briefly the extant and relevant literature, so the state of the art. Even though, make sure that the literature review is not too extensive, so concentrate really on the relevant and, let's say, the key sources and publications. There should also be a section where you get deeper into the methodology, where you also present your research design and the tools that you plan to use to conduct the research, to collect the data, and also to analyze the data. After all, you should include a section of the results that describe the expected outcome and findings from your project. And I also can add at this moment that this is also kind of expected outcome. So it is possible that your findings after conducting your research vary, that they are a way different, that they're even different from your expectation. This is not a problem. Everybody knows that you still need to conduct the research, so don't worry about this. And after all, there should be a little discussion, and for sure, all the collected references and sources that you cited within your thesis proposal and that you utilized to craft the thesis proposal. So this is more or less what it is. So these are the different sections which a thesis proposal need to involve and to contain. And as you can see, the next section of the article provides a little help for you, which I think is very necessary, which is a kind of first step before crafting the real proposal, the real document. Here you can see a description of the different steps, because maybe your supervisor requires a summary of your research project, and where you also need to come up with some details, where you need to sum up the literature, the research objectives, also the expected outcomes, where you conclude with a clear statement of purpose, and so on. And here you also should add the references. And you can see it as a step, an exercise that leads you to the real structure and the final version of your proposal. Then there's also something that I would like to add, namely the utility of proposal samples. If you search even on the website from your university, for example, you may find some examples of how a thesis proposal can look like. You can search for PDFs, for example, and I can tell you that this is very helpful because this is something that goes beyond the, let's say, abstract description of the different sections that your proposal needs to contain. But here you get a really concrete idea. And if this is provided from your university, it is still a way better, because then you already have also the guidelines and the expectations that they have on your proposal as well. So take advantage and try to keep it as an orientation. And even though caution, the idea is not to copy and paste something, but it is to give you an impression of how it should look like and what it should contain, and also to give you an idea of formulations, for example. The last section that you can find in the article sums the different steps up that you need to follow. So here, one more time, you can see the different sections, and I provided a description of what you should add and include, what every section should contain. So here you can see, first you start with the identification of the research question, how to find a fitting research question. And well, this is also something that you can find and go through in depth in the related article on thesis topics. Then the review of the literature, how to state your hypothesis and outline the methodology. And there's also one thing left, which is the creation of a timeline, which is also essential for your project, that you realize everything in a feasible frame. So this is the end of the article. I would recommend that you go through it with more time and that you read the sections carefully through. And I think you already have an impression of how a proposal should look like. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got interested and if you want to see more videos, then subscribe and give us a like. You also are free to sign up for a newsletter, and you also can find information on our campus, which guides you from the first step in the first moment of your thesis writing journey until the end. So benefit from these resources, and I hope to see you in the next video. All the links are in the description of the video, so take your time and check them out.